For those who may have joined us afresh, yes, today's topic is I have Dr. Espira. So over to you, Dr.
I think now it should be much better if I'm not wrong.
They'll confirm. On my end, it's quiet.
Yeah, so I think for me it's perfectly okay because I can hear everything loud and clear.
Right. They have confirmed that it's clear on their end.
Okay, then I think we can proceed on. So, but let's just dive into it because the key thing today we are needed to look at is I think there's someone who had mentioned we need to touch on issues on transgender. So we'll pick it up later on and be able to understand how it comes along and how it affects our various ways of doing things and the normalities across the society. So I think we can pick that one as also a topic, but I'll just touch on it in a preview. But today we need to look at it in terms of how do we end these abuses or gender-based violences both to women and across all the genders within the society. And we need to understand that these are very big global problem that is affecting various countries in all regions of the world. And while there is a diversity of different kinds of violence, which include the violence inflicted by the state itself as a country, violence perpetrated by communities and families, such as looking at some key things around killing, rape, sexual violence, and other physical violence that are being practiced by specific communities. We can take the look at them like female genital mutilation, and some of the psychological violence, such as stalking and human trafficking. We have There are several common factors that around all those key aspects of gender-based violence that are being felt or that are being administered across the various individuals of the society. So some of these factors we look at individuals because the individual things being done by both genders, men, women, and boys, but also we need to understand that these individuals, when we're talking about the individuals, because they make the decision to inflict violence against the other partner or the other person. So one of the factors is individual. This is an individual. I as a person, I as a spirit, I choose to inflict violence to another person. Then the other thing that comes out, the other factor is becomes in attitudes and stereotypes. These are related to masculinity and femininity, yeah, that they use as a support of violence against women and girls, or boys and men. Then we also look at key other things that look at, around that, which are the laws and customs, particularly the normative customs relating to culture and religion. Yeah, we have violence whereby, like a good example in religion, where in the Muslim culture, a lady is not supposed to show off her face or show off her hair, some certain body parts. So like you're really constrained on the kind of dressing you need to put on, and like to wear, you know. So it's very, very keen. And then some of these laws and customs reflect these attitudes and provide a framework in which violence against women is not sanctioned as it should be. Then we have some of the key things that are also around the economic inequalities, which is a both facet of gender-based violence against women and girls. In cases of economic abuse or dowry abuse, etc., because I look at it in the sense that, and this one I always say, your daughter is getting married, but the parents are forcing the groom to come and pay 20 million, 5 million, 10 million shillings in order for the parents to give their daughter away for marriage. That is like selling your own kid and exposing your own daughter towards violence, because this person in one way or another will start saying, I bought you, I own you, you're my property. Because he was not given a leeway to discuss. Dowry should be just a way of appreciating and saying thank you for parent A and B for taking good care of this girl or this gem that I've identified within your household. But it ends up being a means and a way of selling away your family member, selling away your daughter, and it results into you being oppressed, suppressed, and abused within your own household where you're supposed to be having peace, happiness, and love. Okay? So we all look at during there's a convention that there's a convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and men, and for the purpose of the terms discrimination against women, we always look at in various distinctions and exclusion or restriction made on the basis of sex, which has the effect or the purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognitions and enjoyment or exercises by women. Uh, and this is irrespective of their marital status, and also on a basis of equality for men and women, of human rights and fundamental freedoms in the political or economic or social or cultural or civil or any other field. Because when you discriminate anyone against, so we need to eliminate all those forms of discriminations, because these forms of discrimination, for before the 2010 promulgation of the Kenyan Constitution, you tend to find that there was no gender equality and gender equity within the political space. But now that issue of empowerment has come up. In the early 2000s, women were not economically empowered. Social and cultural norm were discriminating women against access to education, access to the job markets, civil and human rights that are existing. Women were being oppressed of their rights of freedom to expression, their rights to access. Like when you get married, at what one point in your own household, you as a woman, for example, will you feel like you are unsafe to ask your partner, use protection in order for you to make out with me, because I feel unsafe. I feel you've been sleeping around. I feel like you're exposing me to some sexual transmitted diseases or infections. You tend to lose that power to say no. And that is some of the key things that we need to look at. We need to eliminate all those forms of discriminations. Also, we need to look at also some of the state parties or some of the government or county government, or they condemn discrimination against women in all its forms, and they also agree to pursue all appropriate means and without delay a policy of eliminating discrimination against women is supposed to be put in place to various societies. Kenya, we have a policy on gender-based violence that clearly outlines the procedures on how to, yeah? Because if you present yourself at the health facility, our health workers, are they empowered capacitated enough to be able to deal with the gender-based violence issues. You'll get to a facility, one of the health worker will say, let's take this victim to the police station. How do you deal with the victim? The other one will say, no, let's treat the victim first. Let's enlighten and raise awareness to the victim on the various forms and procedures that he or she should undertake towards managing this process. And those are the key things that we need to look at. If we don't have clear outlines on how we are supposed to handle them, then we lose our objective at the end. We need to take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination against women by any person or organization or an enterprise, whether it's a legal way, if it's an international organization, whether it's banning its operations within the country, within the set laws and legislations. We need to take all appropriate measures, including legislation, to modify or abolish existing laws, regulations, customs, and practices which constitute discrimination. We just need to get away from that, because before we used to understand that our culture could not allow a lady to inherit land. Why? Because she's married to another family, so her place is in that family. What does it, why discriminate that person against having an inheritance from the father? Those are some of the key things. So we need to completely abolish those. Then some of our state parties, our governments should take, in all fields, in particular in the political, social, economic, and cultural fields, the appropriate measures, including and not limited to legislation, to ensure that there is full development and advancement of women for the purpose of guaranteeing them the exercise and enjoyment of human rights and all the necessary existing and legislated freedoms on a basis of equality with the women or men. We need to have that clear understanding. We need to also approach this gender-based violence from the human rights perspective. What does the human rights tell us? Because we have the general recommendations around women rights. Because we need to recognize the violence against women as a form of discrimination. We also need to recognize it's a violation of the women's human rights mandate. Because if we are discriminating them, we are also violating their rights. So we have, I think it was under the general recommendation from the UN, the CEDAW committee, where they say they put up the strategies and forms of how to inhibit women's ability to enjoy rights and freedoms on a basis of equality with men. And they're clearly outlined, and some of those things I think we'll be able to share. We'll be able to share with the Nyawira, and then Nyawira will be able to put them out there in the various social platforms so that everyone can be able to have access to them and be able to read them and understand what are these rights that you need to enjoy, and no one should infringe in them. We have different forms of discrimination, and some of them are direct that you can see, some of them that are indirect that someone can be in a position to do to you without your knowledge, but you will feel them, you know. And we have one of the various clear things in terms of when you are stripped of privatization, sexism, sentimentalism, yeah, gender-based violence is a very brutal and systemic and structural vice in our society. And there's no way we can sit back and ask ourselves, what are our fundamental rights, what are our fundamental laws that are geared towards preventing all these breaches towards human rights? When you're being discriminated, when you're being abused as a man or a woman, both socioeconomically, physically, sexually, emotionally, there's a breach of human rights at the end of the day. And we need to ensure that those individuals can be stripped of their powers or be dealt with in accordance to the law. Because even the international law binds all governments to abide by encouraging and promoting access to human rights. Although we do experience some of the countries whereby you're not supposed to. And this is one of the key things. I think it's a month or 2 months ago where a lady was to face almost 6 years in jail in Rwanda because of dressing inappropriately in public. That's what they say, inappropriately, just because maybe the dress was slightly shorter above your knee and you're having a cleavage of some sort, you know. So those are some of the key things that we need to look at and ask ourselves now. Where are we? You know, I would like to encourage all of us to go and watch Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. He has a TED Talk. It's called a TED Talk. I think it's on YouTube. We should all be feminists. It's a 12. It was uploaded on 12th April 2013. We should all be feminists. Feminists, because the key thing here is, let us not leave out men when we are trying to find solutions on issues around GBV. Let's all come together and work in line with contributing towards making changes that we do need in the society. Let's ask ourselves this question: who has a right or who has rights in these situations? Prosecuting domestic violence and sexual violence from a human rights approach. And we look at it in terms of a comprehensive approach to ending domestic violence and also prosecuting the crimes of rape and sexual violence as a human rights approach. We have so many child marriages that are persistent and socially acceptable form of domestic violence, which is rooted in the idea that women's and girls' priorities and role in life should be their intimate relationships with men, and that these relationships should be sustained whatever the cost to the women, and no matter how abusive the man is. And these are some of the key things within the society where we are talking about gender roles. When you marry a girl who has not attained the age of 18, and some of them get married as early as 15 years old, are you helping them? What are you doing towards them? Are you destroying them emotionally? Are you destroying them psychologically? What are you doing to them in the cognitive mind? You know? So when they are abused in those houses and they come back to their mothers or their parents' home, and they're told, hata mi nilivumilia, we rudi tu kwa ndoa yako. Then the next moment you find there's a suicide, homicide in that family. You start saying, I wish I would have taken another step. Those do not work. Let's ask ourselves this question. Given that assaults and killings tend to be crimes in all domestic legal systems, why has domestic violence been so little prosecuted and remains so prevalent? Why? Why? Let's type those answers. Why? Because we know very well, given that all assaults, killings tend to be crimes in all domestic legal systems, why has domestic violence been so little prosecuted and remains so prevalent? Why? Why? Yeah. Let's ask ourselves those questions. And as you're asking yourself, just type your answers there. We'll be able to look at that later. Prosecuting crimes of rape and sexual violence. Let's look one of the examples that happened in 1998 in Rwanda. It's called the Akayesu case, International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. They defined rape as an act of sexual nature which is committed on a person under circumstances which are coercive. You are coerced. You did not consent. You are under the influence of. Coercive circumstances need not to be evidenced by a show of physical force. Threats, intimidation, extortion, and other forms of duress which prey on fear or desperation may constitute coercion, and coercion may be inherent in certain circumstances, such as armed conflict, like in South Sudan, where the rebels could just come and pick you and they go and sleep with you in the bush, you get pregnant and stay there and work with them, The military presence of the armed militiamen among the displaced communities, That one could happen very well and cause a lot of harm also within the society. Some of these areas and some of the key things that have also come out clearly to show that it's in the police cells or the prisons. Let's say the rape of a detainee by an official of the government, it must be considered to be a specifically grave and abhorrent form of ill treatment, given that ease with which the offender can exploit because you're vulnerable at that time. You need some certain things, and they have weakness to your resistance. So the victim will definitely give in to that. And some of these cases, they don't need much of evidenced information. Just that specific acute physical pain of forced penetration. And when it's done within that various time, then you find with that evidence at the court of law, the court is be very, very satisfied that the accumulation of acts of physical and mental violence inflicted on the applicant, it's a cruel act of rape. And eventually within the various convictions, the breach of Article 3 of the human rights conventions, then it clearly tells you we need to be in very good coherence with our laws and statutes as outlined either within the UN conventions and also within the national context setting. We also need to look at men. How do we transform stereotypes and acting in solidarity to end discrimination and violence for everyone? Because we need to involve men at all forms. If we leave them out, then what next? If we leave them out, then what next? How do men relate to dominant gender norms and patriarchy? Ask yourself those questions. How do these norms affect them? Do they feel like there are any missed opportunities there for men too? Why is it important to work with men and boys? Because if you work with men and boys, you reduce the men's gender-related vulnerabilities. You help in terms of family planning and sexual and reproductive health within the community and those households. You reduce gender-based violence because now they get aware, they get informed on some of the acts that are around gender-based violence. You give them the ideas and the information around the importance of fatherhood and the care and raising of children so that they are part and parcel of that full process. They understand the maternal mortality because of negligence of your partner. They get to understand that. And also, you reduce and curb the incident rates of HIV/AIDS. HIV and AIDS, you know. When we talk about all these, where do we play the role in terms of ensuring gender mainstreaming? Remember this, we need more men who have the courage and the strength to start standing up. And standing up with women and not against them. And pretending that somehow this is a battle between the sexes and other kinds of nonsense. Because we need to remember we live in this world together. We don't live in two different worlds. We are in it together. Men need to join the fight to end violence against women. It's a must. We have to. What are some of the solutions to adopt on a comprehensive approach to just end these forms of violence and women and cutting across all the genders, discriminating all of them? What are some of the approaches that we need to look at? We need to look at various conventions, preventions. We just need to intermarry the interlinkages of preventions, punishments, and eradications of violence, and see which ones fit very well and how we can enforce them. Do we have enforcement mechanism within the society? Yes, we have, because there are certain things that are clearly defined within the laws that if these are experienced, these are the procedures of the law. So you can't run away from that. Okay? We need to follow all the protocols towards the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, on the rights of women in Africa, which we are looking at. The charter, if you look at Article 3, we're looking at a right to dignity. Every woman shall have the right to dignity inherent in a human being and to the recognition and protection of her human and legal rights. We need to be in sync with our various processes and legislations. Then we ask ourselves, when we are talking of issues around gender mainstreaming, because gender mainstreaming could lead to positive changes because everyone is involved, everyone is in tandem with that. When you are talking about HR policies, have we mainstreamed gender issues in it? Because when you're talking of gender equality and gender equity, it's mainstreaming gender issues within all your policies. Do we have that? Where did the rain start beating us? When you are coming up with the strategies and approaches, have we mainstreamed gender issues within our strategies? When we are talking about advocacy efforts, we need to mainstream gender in every advocacy issues. Have we developed clear gender indicators that will enable us to have proper research and other analytical works? Have we mainstreamed gender in our legislations? Have we mainstreamed gender in our procedures and processes? What are our medium-term and long-term goals in issues around gender? And when we are doing our budgets as a country, those are some of the key things to look at as civil society organizations that are working towards eradicating gender-based violence. Have we mainstreamed gender in our budget or our budgeting plans? Those are very key, and it's very important that will enable us to improve on our monitoring and evaluation of various key issues around gender. And some of these packages, we just need to ask ourselves, where are we? Where do we want to be? What do we want to achieve? What is our end game? Are we happy? Are we sad? What have we lost? What have we gained? You know? So it is very, very, very key for us to look at those various facets and ask multiple questions so that we can get the clarity of answers that we deserve. Any questions? Swali yeyote, swali. Nani yuko na swali? Nani yuko na swali? Hatuna swali?
Nakaa tuko sawa.
Sawa. So today I don't want to give too much information because this session is supposed to just be strictly 1 hour, because you need to sit back and ask yourself, have I contributed towards infringing and discriminating any other person based on their sex, based on their sexuality, and based on their gender orientation? One of the key things you need to look at and ask yourself is it worth to live or to live? And we are talking about to live and live. I have to leave this house. I need to live my life. Are you ready to walk the talk? Or you want to hide behind the wall and be the oppressor? Are you ready to see your brother and sister happy because you played a role towards ending gender-based violence? Are you ready to stand up as a man and say, enough is enough? We can't be promoting negative cultural norms, negative societal norms. What are we ready to do? We are having a rotten society whereby our parents say, you need to have this, you should not do this, but at the end of the day, you are your own person. Do you want to live by what the society dictates, or do you want to live by what you feel and believe it's right? What exactly are you looking for? We have various issues that are surrounding us as a society. Lisa is asking, if you are a prosecutor and you are handling such a culprit, what will be your punishment to them? The laws and legislations have clearly outlined some certain punishments, some certain rulings, and these are legal processes that the law takes its course. At the same time, people have the rights to live. You can't take away someone's right.
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know. So you let the law take its course. Some countries, there's life imprisonment. Some countries, there's a death penalty. Some countries, they don't even discuss about taking you to court. They take the matters in their own hands, whatever happens, because that is the. But let us not operate with the law of the jungle.
Mm.
We have a clear stated kind of legal processes that will take place. If we go ahead and start promoting the law of the jungle, then there's
Mm.
always forms of retaliations. I remember when growing up, we used to have a lot of violence against children in the community,
Mm.
where if a kid, for example, comes and steals a penny, 5 shillings, or steals an egg, steals some food from the pot, some of the parents could go ahead and take the child's hand and put it in hot oil, put it in glowing fire and burn the kid. You know, that is violence to the kid. That's
Mm.
physical violence to the kid, emotional violence to the kid, because that kid will grow up knowing that is a form of abuse that which is outrightly you can do it to someone.
Mm.
So they grow up with those things in their mind, which as a society they don't sit well. So the forms of punishments, we leave them unto the legal structures that are clearly defined and stipulated. Look at a good example that we can see, like forms of sexual abuse that has internationally been aired. The issue, the cases following around R.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly. So if we decided to do mob justice, and some of the cases they're not they're not true. Some of them, after all that period, some of them they're being now right now they're being found they were malice. Yes, some
Mm.
that actions that he did, but some of them that are malice. So we clearly ask ourselves, should we take the law in our own hands? No. So these are some of the key things we need to ask ourselves and be able to clearly outline and be able to move on and move beyond that. As we come to an end, I think we have done our super 1 hour. I would like to ask a basic. Let's no, let's give to give a very clear, outright. I like to give a clear, outright thing outside there in terms of when we are asking ourselves. For those, some of them, I think some of the members here might have gotten these because I wrote it somewhere yesterday. We need, if you are a victim of any form of abuse, speaking about it is one of the steps of the healing process. Don't keep it inside you, because the more you keep it inside you, you create anger, and that anger can result into an action that you will live to regret in your life. Let it out. Talk about it. Secondly, start by gaining power over your life. Control your life. Make decisions for yourself. Start raising awareness. If you have kids, start raising awareness to your kids by telling them, this is not right, this is wrong, don't do this, don't do that, because you'll be infringing into someone else. Right. Build, as you're building your own self-confidence, build your own self-confidence. I'm pretty. Yes, someone has been telling you you're not pretty. Start building your own self-confidence and esteem. I'm beautiful. I don't deserve this. I deserve better. When you start saying such kind of words to yourself, then you're gearing yourself to better things. You're gearing yourself to better things. You look at things in a different format. If you have people around you, by building your personal self-confidence, you're also building the environment. You're creating that positive energy around your environment. You're creating positive energy among your kids, among your peers, and everyone will be looking at you as a victor. I am victorious because I did it. I came out of it. Yes, there is self-assurance. You know, expand your choices. Expand your choices. Don't box yourself in one area. Go out, meet different people. With those scars, some of them might be physical scars. Some of them must be emotional scars. But when you are expanding your choices, you'll meet different people who will be telling you, you know what, Terry? You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. I love your energy. I love your space. Just being around you motivates me to do things that I've been thinking of doing. You know, you are too smart. You are too educated. You know, those are some of the things that enable you to move on and live your life in a very beautiful way. Try and by expanding your choices, it means you are increasing your access to resources. Because, as we always say, your worth is those people that you have around you. They're not supposed even to be 20. They're not even supposed to be 10. They can even be 3 or even 1. You have increased access and control over resources because now you have built your own self-esteem, you have raised awareness, you have power, and you're in control. Yeah? That one clearly means you have increased and you have taken control of your resources. With that 1 shilling, yeah, with that your resource as your knowledge, you have control over it. And you're in a space of ensuring that you have a multiplier effect in it. And eventually, you start working towards transforming your structures and institutions. You start transforming your lives. Anyone who has a negative energy in the process, unawashukisha bana. Hiyo matatu si lazima ijae. Si lazima ijae. Hakuna hata siku moja nishaona kwamba gari ikishatoka kwenye stage itaekeza mizigo, itaekeza abiria, na dereva akishaingiza gia ya kwanza, basi lile gari litaendelea, litafika mahali katikati ya ule mwendo mtaweza kubeba watu na mtajaza gari mkifika mwisho. Ukishafika mwisho utajua kwamba basi hapa hivi natumai ya kwamba nimepata ile mbegu ambayo nilikuwa nataka kuipata, na ni ile mbegu halali, na ni hakika ya kwamba naenda kupata mavuno ama mazao ambayo ni ya muhimu na ya manufaa kwangu mimi, kwa jamii, na kwa wale watu ambao wako karibu na mimi au kando na mimi. So it is important for us to be in a position to look at that. we also will be in a position to transform our institutions. What are our institutions? Our bodies, our institutions. The people around us, our households members, that is our institution. Some of these things, when you do that, you find that even your own abuser comes back crawling and begging for mercy because he or she thought you'll be brought down. But to his or her surprise, you are strong, your head is so high, and nothing will bring you down. You're very focused, and you're just looking at what next, what next, what next, what next. Because my mind, my body, my flesh is destined for the best things in the society. It's destined for the best in this world. It's destined for prosperity. Do not be so fast to judge. Take your time and forgive. Take your time and heal. Turn the negative energy into positive energy. And you will see the best thing that will happen in your life that no one else would have ever envisioned you'll ever attain it. I believe we come from different walks of life. I believe we have experienced different kind of tortures, different kind of chaos, different kind of pain, oppression, suppression, depression, and stresses within our lives. But that one does not define who we are. It is just a stepping stone to good destiny. It is a stepping stone for you to do a reality check of your life. Then ask yourself again, what is my vision in life? For those who are in relationships and you can see a sign of misunderstanding, a sign of mistrust, a sign of maybe violence coming up, abuse coming up, ask yourself, are you in clear comprehension of who your partner is? Do you understand your partner? Do you know your partner? Did you just have your baby love and then that was it? You decided to stay together? Ask yourself those questions. Can you find better ways of communicating your stresses in your relationship rather than yelling at each other? My personal strategy when it comes to someone is annoyed with me and they are quarreling me, they're yelling at me, is to keep quiet. Let the person finish talking. Because you can't talk at each other. One person has to listen. If it's not you or if it's not your partner, then it means you're quarreling each other. You're talking at each other. You are not talking to each other. Listen, even when you're not on the wrong. Do you know, by the time you just tell that person, I'm sorry, I might have done something indirectly or directly without my knowledge. I did not mean to hurt you. I did not mean to wrong you. Do you know you have already burst the bubble? The person will be like, okay, why am I quarreling again? And they have already said sorry. When the temperatures are calmed down and you in a position to have a conversation, you'll be like, Muna, oh sorry, Judith, you know what? You say this and that, but I said sorry because I needed you to calm down, but kindly explain to me where I went wrong so that the next time I should change. I should not brush you in the wrong way. When it is explained to you and you feel like you didn't do the thing or the way you express yourself, it's not the way it was taken in context. Now you can clearly explain it in details to the person and tell them, this is what I meant. I'm sorry I wasn't clear, but I think you took my words out of context. This is what I meant. You'll have a very clear understanding that will result into an amicable reasoning and a happy relationship and a healthy one. Because most of the time you'll be having and resolving your issues based on a discussion or a talk, not throwing words and throwing objects at each other. That is my talk. Thank you so much. My name is Hubert Espira, or you can call me Doc. It's been a pleasure for everyone, and hopefully we catch up again on Friday. Thank you, and be blessed.
Thank you, Daktari. Does anyone have a question in regards to this session for Daktari? If you have any, please raise it. Daktari will respond. Any query? Maslin says, oh, Daktari, that's your session, not mine. Can moderate this.
Thank you so much, Terry, and I'm glad that you managed to learn 1 or 2, 3 points from it. Yes, Maslin? Yes, the 16 days of activism around gender-based violence is coming up, and we really need to have the best and put our best foot in front. Ceci, yes, it's a process, and when we go through these processes, we get to learn a lot of the things on the way, and it's never easy. But what I would say is all of us try. For those 42 of us who are here, go online on the UN Women website, and there are free courses there. You'll have some completion certificates that you can use in your also application of your jobs, in terms of, because every little organization, they want to be associated with someone who is understanding the issues around gender-based violence, whether at workplace, and also you'll be able to understand those issues around sexual harassment at workplace. So go there, register. It's free. The courses are free, although there are some, like, they're not, I think, not even more than 6, which are payable, but you have over 30 courses there, the training mode, that are free. So go to trainingcenter.unwomen.org, trainingcenter.unwomen.org. You'll be able to register yourself and do the various training models. If you finish them, you get your completion certificates, which you can use them when you're doing your applications. And also have the time, because when you're going through them, make your notes on the side, because there are some quiz. You need to finish some quizzes, like 5 questions or 6 or 7 questions at the end, that enables you for you to be assessed in terms of your understanding of the modules. So please have a look at that, and yeah. Yes, we need to. Yes, Ceci, I'll give you a call. I think after this, I just have 1 hour call from. Yeah, I'll create time today and give you a call, and we can be able to catch up on the few things. Mercy, I think what you can do is pick up the issues. You can plan your days on social media platforms and just create awareness, and specific topics. Yeah, just pick a specific topic each and every day and write a paragraph or a page out, depending on which topic you have, and just create awareness around that. Okay. Very powerful, encouraging, and bringing forth a lot of clarity. Grateful for this platform.
If you
Terry
talk
is
about the
asking,
WhatsApp,
pardon?
could talk about the WhatsApp group, we have a home.
Yes. We have, I think we have a WhatsApp group where we discuss our issues on gender-based violence, and just trying to do a lot of encouragement, and just to ensure there's a lot of for you, our brothers and sisters whom in one way or another you have experienced various forms. We just try and encourage each other and to be able to be strong and move from that dark valley where you are to the light and to the most harmonious place where you want yourself to be. So, and also this just creating self-awareness and building your confidence and getting out of it, and just seeing that you're back on your right path, and see to it that everything works accordingly. Wisiri is a training center dot UN women. And the center is not the one with the TER, it's rather than it's the center for TRE. Not she was today it wasn't to cut onions. Today it was a matter of trying to find ways on how to get out of our pain more than just try and look at things that we need to do to enable ourselves to get back to our feet, and just know where we are better placed.
Yeah.
Training center. Yes, you get an e-certificate. Let me just type for you. Okay, there it is. There it is. So we need just to be able to, yeah, insomnia lounge is Kikuyu. Parent, I think it's the opposite, some cowish there. So I think that is it. So let's have our profound understanding of what exactly needs to be put in place. Let's have a profound understanding on what we need to be like. And for the men in the life, please stand up for the rights of the women, stand up for the rights of both boys and girls in the society. Speak up. Don't be timid. Let's speak up. because we live in this world and we live in this society, all of us. Again, the WhatsApp group is we are having discussions, or we just created a WhatsApp group for healing process, giving encouragement, and in case someone who has experienced any form of GBV and you need some help, we also try and connect you to various authorities or institutions where you can be able to be given help. So that is basically what the group is for. And then just to ensure that we don't leave out any brother or sister of ours who has a problem in that regard.
Yep.
Margaret Kamanja, you want to be helped with 100, you're hungry. Send Jawira your number, please. Send Jawira your number. Muna says most of us, we don't respect ourselves as a lady. We don't know our values, that way end up GBV. Yeah, there's a lot of exploitation in terms of when you're vulnerable, so quite a number of people tend to take advantage of your vulnerability and exploit it and make maximum utilization of it. And some of our vulnerabilities as women in the society is have I been raised by a single parent? So in the process of you looking for a father figure in your lives, so you tend to get to a position whereby you're exposed and you're prone to being abused because you cannot do much, you can't do much, you can't defend for yourself, you can't protect for yourself. You feel like you are the point of, if I move away from this, what will I do? You can't stand on your own. So those are some of the vulnerabilities that you get exposed to. And true self-identity, true self-actualization, true self-confidence, it's attained when you really get to know your worth as a person. And your worth is not about how much you have. Your worth is your knowledge. Your worth is, what are these ideas in my head that I can be able to pitch it out and be able to make myself be that person I want to be in the society. That is your self-worth. You can have a father figure, you can have a mentor. You can have a father figure or have a mentor. So that is predominantly what one would come up with. Okay. So that's it and done. I think I can see there are no further questions. And thank you all. And wish you a fruitful Ladies' Day. It's called today. Wednesday is always the Ladies' Days out. Huh?
Hmm.
Knowing your worth about lady. Agi is asking if you can be her mentor, please.
Of course. Of course.
Yes, Muna, we can pick up that to one of the topics around and see how we can be able to relate around self-worth. Self-worth is a key thing, so we can pick up around that one and also be able to discuss. I think nothing else I've left out. Thank you all. Nashukuru sana. Acha niongee Kiswahili ndio watu wajue kuwa pia mimi ni Mkenya. Nashukuru sana. Poleni kwanza, najua Kiswahili changu most of the time my Swahili is a little bit it sounds more of Costarian. It sounds more of Costarian, eh? Nashukuru sana kwa wale ambao wameweza kutusikiza kwa siku ya leo. Natumai ya kwamba mmepata mafunzo mawili ambayo yatawasaidia, yatajenga jamii, yatakujenga wewe mwenyewe, na yamefungua fikira zako kimaisha, kiuchumi, kiulimwengu. Just tafakari yote ambayo umeyasikia leo, na ukiwa na swali lolote ambalo unapenda kwamba lazima tuzungumzie kwa kiundani sana, ama kwa kiupana, kwa kiurefu, basi tutakuwa na uwezo wa kujadiliana pamoja, na tunaweza patana kwa ule mtandao wetu wa kijamii ambao tumetengeneza pale. Tutapatana pale, tuko na cha tuite baraza la wakurugenzi ambao, ama wale ambao wanapenda kuendesha mambo kuhusiana na jinsia za kijamii na mambo ambayo yanashikilia mambo ya kuhusu your general upbringing as a society, as a person, yeah. So mimi nimeshukuru sana, mweze kubarikiwa na tuende kuongea, tuzungumze pia sisi, tupitishe ule ujumbe kwa wengine ambao pia wanahitaji na tunaweza wasaidia. Let's help others and let's help each other. Let's share information and let's build a very cohesive and coherent society. Thank you. Back to you, Nyawira.
I remember when I was working for a company in Thika, Central Food. I don't know if you guys know Central Food. They're the producers of Ken sauce, the tomato sauce, Ken sauce. I worked there for, I think, 2 years. I remember the director used to say that the only reason why he loved me so much, he told me the only reason why you're going to prosper is because you have very good listening skills. You rarely interrupt. We would go for board meetings and everyone is shouting, and then I would wait for that opportunity. I get my chance and bam. So sishangae when I keep quiet when daktari is taking over. Si time yangu. When it's daktari's chance, it's his opportunity. Anyway, so the WhatsApp group is a home that we created, spearheaded by Daktari. There's there is my PA Ruth, and a few of the ladies here. So if you'd wish to join that group, let me know. Just text me your number on TikTok right here. Let me know that you'd like to join that group. And that's our home. We call it our home. That's the point. That's the place you come and tell us what's happening to you. If you need any sort of assistance, we'll be there for you, because that's where we sit and hold each other. That's where we cry. That's where we talk. Because some of these things cannot be addressed here, but they could be addressed from such a group. So You don't send the number here. I'll not be able to pick the number here. You will inbox the number. You inbox the number. Our main goal is to stick by each other and help each other, ensure that there is financial stability, because in most cases that's usually the reason. And yeah, we hope that with this we'll get more reasons, we'll have more issues come up. And I would like to have, what was your name, Maslin? I've realized your keen interest in GBV. I would also love to have you if you're still here. So just inbox me your number on TikTok. Just inbox it. We'll add you up to the group. Be positive, love one another, comment, make each other feel at home on the group. Sawa. Yeah, so that's it for now. So now, Daktari, we should have another session on Friday. I don't know what we're going to
Yeah.
discuss. What would you like the topic to be this Friday, 10:30?
I'll share with you later on, and then you can be able to pass across.
Sure. All right. So you have another session on Friday, 10:30. What about those of us who want to raise awareness? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Let's meet on the group and make a decision on what exactly we want. Yeah, it's just a hope that we created, and I hope it's going to change so many people's lives, because the major challenge is people don't have a space to come and speak out, get support that they need. So when you come to that group, remember that you're going to find wounded people that need to be treated with a lot of care, respect, right? Respect. So we shall see what God has in store for us. I'm very sure there is something. There's going to be a goal. So we're going to get there. So anyway, I am super, super pleased. Dr. Ari, thank you for this topic. I can't thank you enough, because like I keep saying, most of us are going through GBV and we didn't realize that you were actually being abused. We thought when you called stupid, that you're belittled, it's normal, because that's how we were raised. That's exactly what our mothers went through. But over time, when you keep spreading the word, people realize. And instead of waiting until you get to a point that there's no return, or to a point of, I believe that's for Daktari Kerry. That's for you, Daktari. Kerry is saying you're going to touch on narcissist behavior. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
to continue. Sorry about that. Someone was calling. Yeah. So, anyway, because we have no more questions on this, so should we say we meet tomorrow? We meet tomorrow. Daktari, would you like to respond to? Hey God, that name is difficult. Wishira Kerry.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it a topic we could handle?
I think we managed to handle. We picked it up on terms of some of the emotional. Narcissism is one of the emotional violence or emotional abuse that sorry, most of the individuals experience, because we spoke about it during the last time, and this one clearly came out in terms of how I can decide to, let's say, Wishiri herself or himself, I think I believe it's Sashi. She's in Nairobi or in Thika or in Naivasha, and then I decide to take her away from Thika and go and domicile her in Lamu, where is I've taken her away from her friends, from her family, from the environment that she's so used to, to a place that is new for her, a place where she can't do much, a place where she can't say anything. And this is some of the key factors around that. And the narcissist character is basically geared towards eliminating, or rather removing you from your comfort places to a new place so that they can control you. They can just have you for themselves. So it's purely that, someone who ensures that you fully depend on them for anything. They ensure you don't work, and if you work, you are working for even within their own company, whereby they like they control you in terms of your payment. You don't get the payment. Then if you are working, say the narcissist will always ensure that immediately you receive your salary like this, that money is withdrawn and taken to their account, so that you need to be asking them for money. So that is a form of control. So those are some of the key things around narcissism, but we can also further pick it up as a topic on its own, and see both the pros and the cons of being in a relationship with a narcissist. Thank you.
All right. So I want to give one person an opportunity to speak from here. Just make a comment. What you learned, was it helpful to you? What was the most striking? What did you learn from Daktari? Do you think this conversation should proceed? Do you have anyone who would be bold enough to come in and just say 2-3 things or one thing? Anyone? You don't have to log in with video. You can just do audio. This is what we call public speaking skills. Anyone? Going one? Going twice? I'm gonna give you a minute, just in case you're typing. Going thrice? All right. So we'll give this chance next time. So other than that, oh yes, Maslin Chep, you'd like, all right, let me give you an opportunity.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I'm audible, Nyawira.
Yes, you are. Good afternoon, Maslin. How are you?
Okay, thank you so much. The session has been so informative. Thank you, Nyawira, for having this platform. We have been learning a lot. Okay, from the first time that I joined this session, I've been looking forward to being there and listening and learning more. Personally, I'm gender-based violence advocate. Like, I advocate for these women. You can't be staying in that house and you are being abused, or talking to girls. Like, if you are abused, these are channels that you are supposed to go and report, do this and this. Yeah, Daktari, it's been so good. Like, you have been empowering women, telling them on how they should run away. And also girls, even as you are raising your children, tell them all forms of violence, in either verbal or physical. It's been so nice. Thank you so much. Okay, you can log me off. I don't know how to log off.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Maslin, for those words. Be with us. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mercy, for those words. Very kind. Daktari, asante tena. I cannot thank you enough. Pia unajua. You know how I feel about you. So,
Karibu
guys,
sana.
guys, thank you for being here. So we log off. Sisi kwetu hatuna stima. So we'll meet tomorrow. again, if you had power, maybe ningewapatia more jobs, but let's take a break. We meet again tomorrow. Sawa.
Sawa
Have a
sawa.
good
Thank
afternoon.
you. Have a
Thank you,
lovely
Daktari.
afternoon, everyone.
Same here. Thank you, Daktari.
Bye.
Bye-bye.